Came across this quote from Pat McAfee. Actually heard him, wrote it down. When you get to be part of a team, you really see the difference. Those who put in the work in the dark, and those that don't. What you do in darkness will be noticed when you reach the light. Now, of course, I mean, he's talking about football, about practice, about dedication. But when I heard it, I thought of my own darkness, right? The real darkness. Not a time of day, but a state of being. The darkness that kind of sits on your chest at 3 p.m., like in a crowded room, or the darkness that follows you into the shower. Could even be that darkness that convinces you that everyone would be better off if, yeah. I've been doing the work in the darkness for over a decade, man. The difference was that it was just the wrong kind of work that I was putting in. Every weekend, it was like for 10 years, man, I worked on my darkness. Friday at 5 p.m., start drinking. By midnight, I'm gone. Then Saturday rolls around. I wake up feeling like shit, mope and scatter around, only find myself drunk again, before sundown. Sunday, completely shot, wondering what stupid shit I did. Who did I drunk text? Phone filled with zillions of pictures. And then Monday, 5 a.m. rolls around, shower, smile, pretend the weekend never even happened. Right? That was my dark work. I was perfecting this spiral. I was managing my descent, man. I was planning my exit. And all of it was hidden, all of it was secret, and all of it was in the dark. And I actually thought I was smart. I'd actually tell people my plan, because I never drank the day before I worked. And to be truth, I wasn't quitting. I was scheduling my destruction better, right? That's not recovery. That's organized dying is what I was doing. And I wasn't alone in my darkness. And this blew my mind when I discovered this. It was after my brother's death, and my mother gave me some of his stuff from when he was little. And at the age of 7, he was already journaling. At 7, he was journaling. And he wrote about a passenger. And this was a passenger that he had encountered, right? And what I learned was my brother, he was doing his work in the dark as well. And I know now he had help from someone, and he called it his passenger, fighting something nobody else could see, losing a little bit more to this passenger year after year after year. And he ended up, man, he was fighting that passenger for 37 years. You know where he was doing it? He was doing it alone, in secret, and in the dark. And at 44, man, drugs finally shut his body down, and he didn't make it. My mother, alcohol killed my mother. And her dark work was hiding bottles and forgetting our names. And so I was the last one standing when my mom went down, and she died young as well. And here's what I learned from watching them die. The darkness doesn't kill you, the secrecy does. Okay? Then something kind of shifted in my own life, right? Like a major fucking shift. No one felt it. I mean, no one did, but I knew something shifted. It wasn't the time that I died on the streets of Houston from a motorcycle accident and they brought me back to life. That happened. It wasn't after I lost my marriage and isolated everyone, including my kids and my grandkids. It wasn't a decade of the long shit show that I put myself through, or 3 years I figured a bullet was easier than living. Nope, it was none of those things. It wasn't a light bulb moment. It wasn't an inspiration. You know what it was? I was flat out exhausted. I was tired of being so fucking good at planning my death. I was tired of the expertise I developed in spiral management. I was tired of perfecting a system designed to kill me. And then it came. But what if? What if I put the same obsessive energy into something else? What if the work changed, even if the darkness didn't? Look, I don't know if you have a passenger, something that haunts you or guides you to destruction. And here's what nobody tells you about that passenger. That thing that my brother talked about, the present that isn't you but lives in you, pushing you towards destruction. This is the tricky part, man. It speaks in your voice. That's why it's so fucking convincing. When it says you're worthless, it sounds exactly like you thinking. When it whispers just end it, It uses your tone, it uses your inflection, it uses your internal monologue. In my passenger, it was loud. The first 2 weeks I got sober, my passenger got louder and angrier. It was like a parasite fighting for its food source. You're going to jail. You're going to fail anyway. This is pointless. You're better off drunk. At least when you drank, the pain stopped. That was always my cue to quit. The passenger doesn't just speak, it screams, and it knows what to say because it's been studying you for years. But here's what I learned. The passenger, it only knows one song, right? And it's been singing that same tune since it arrived. You're broken, you're worthless, just fucking die already. And once you reorganize the melody, you can change your response to it. And here's the thing about passengers. They thrive in the darkness and they die in the light. And here's what I finally understood. There's dark work that stays in the dark. It's hidden, it's secret, it's shameful. The kind my brother did for 37 years. The kind my mother did until the bottles won. The kind I did every weekend for a decade. And there's dark work that gets dragged into the light. Same darkness, same demons, same 3 p.m. weight on your chest or 3 a.m. cold sweats. But it's different work. Work that gets seen, work that gets told, work that refuses to stay hidden. The dark work, planning my spiral in secret, hiding bottles, scheduling destruction, fighting the passenger alone where nobody could see me lose. The new dark work that occurs, same demons, but I drag every bit of it into the light. The gym at 4 a.m., visible, tracked, accountable, the meal prep, documented, the sobriety, counted publicly, the writing, you're listening to my darkness right now. And the passenger, man, it hates the light. It was designed and built for the shadows, for secrets, for shame, right? Spirals nobody else gets to witness. And when I started telling people, when I started writing about the green shit and the death planning and the 3 years with a bullet as my backup plan, the passenger, it got quieter and quieter and quieter. It's not gone. It's never gone. But it can't scream the same way when other people are watching. And the passenger, man, it feeds on specific things. Isolation, shame, secrets, poison, inaction. Notice what they all have in common? They all happen in the dark, man. So, you know what I did? I started a starvation diet. That's what I started doing. Instead of isolation, I told people what I was doing. I reconnected with my kids. Instead of shame spirals, I documented everything. Weight, body fat, day counts, all of it's public. Instead of secrets, I'm telling you this story. Instead of poison, protein, whatever. Instead of inaction, now movement. Whether that's the gym, whatever that looks like for you, or the keyboard, or meal prep, or for me, it's PhD research. I'm in a PhD program now. It doesn't matter what time. It matters that it's visible. My brother, he fought his passenger for 37 years with willpower alone, in the dark, in secret. I'm not fighting mine. I'm exposing it. I'm dragging it into the light where it cannot hide, starving it of the secrecy it needs to survive. This is going to get gross. The first 2 weeks sober, I literally shit green. A decade of poison, it was leaving my body. That's not a metaphor. That actually happened. But here's what else came out. The decade of destruction dude, that guy. The version of me that planned spirals and managed descent and perfected the system designed to kill me. He came out in that green sludge too. And I stood there in an empty house wondering, and this is where everything started to shift. Who will I become now? What will I want? Will I know it when I see it? And that's the terrifying part about bringing dark work into the light. You don't just expose the work, you expose yourself. All that shit you've been hiding, all the systems you built to manage your destruction, all the expertise you developed in dying slowly, it all comes into the light. And that's exactly where it needs to be. If you're listening to this with the weight on your chest, whether it's 3 a.m., 3 p.m., understand this. You're already doing the work, man. You're already putting in the hours. You're already obsessive. You're already committed. The question isn't whether you're working. The question is your work hidden or exposed? The mental health system wants you to eliminate your darkness. Sunshine, positivity, gratitude journals. That's why 48.8% of men drop out. It doesn't honor what they're actually carrying. But here's the truth nobody tells you. You don't have to escape the darkness. You have to drag what you're doing there into the light. The demons, man, they might not leave. The passenger, it might not ever shut up. The weight on your chest, that might just become like permanent furniture that's there forever. But the work you do, that can change. And when it changes, it needs witness. Two things have to shift. First, change the work. The bottle or the barbell, whatever that is, whatever you replace it with, the pills or the protein, the death plan or the life plan, the doom scroll or the deep work, the shame spiral or the spreadsheet. Same obsessive energy, different target. Second, drag it in the light. Tell someone, document it, make it visible, count the days out loud, let people see you struggle. The passenger can't survive exposure. It was built for the shadows. My brother fought it alone for 37 years. Don't make his mistake. Going back to McAfee, when he got right, what you do in the darkness will be noticed when you reach the light. He was more right than he knew. Everything hidden eventually gets exposed. All dark work comes to light eventually, whether you're ready for it to or not. And the question is, when it does, what will people see? The system you built to destroy yourself or the system you built to survive? Which one are they going to see? Because right now, at whatever hour you're listening to this, with whatever weight is on your chest, you're in the dark doing work. Make it worth seeing. And there's all kinds of places you can go, man. If you're really in a crisis right now, you got suicide prevention hotline, text lines, emergency room. There's no shame in it. There's ways to bring your darkness into the light and use them. But if you're just tired, bone tired of being good at dying, then know this. You don't have to escape the darkness. You just have to stop hiding what you're building there. Look, man, I'm 56, 8th grade dropout, 140 plus days sober, and I'm still carrying the darkness. The difference, I stopped hiding. And that made all the difference. All right, guys, crazy old man here. That's all I got for today. Bring that darkness to the light, man, before something else does bring it to the light. All right. Hope you guys subscribe to Substack. If not, let me know in the comments below. Hopefully, everybody's doing great. Have a blessed day. Talk to you later.